Hey, welcome everyone to the Not Hate Speech Show. I'm your host, Dylan.
And I'm your host, John. And today we're going to talk about non binary and how it's kind of a fad, like emo, maybe
Ish.
ish. We don't want to be disrespectful to the entire concept of non binary, but there's a problem where, like, anyone who's like a straight cis white college girl can just dye their hair purple and now all of a sudden they're part of the LGBT.
Yeah, well, also in this article that we have here, from the
Yeah.
the Transnational or the T National Center for Transgender Equality, um, it kind of reinforces the binary in the first sentence.
Oh, it
So,
all does. Yeah, it
well,
all
of
does.
course. Well, I mean, in the first sentence here, it says most people, including most transgender people, are either male or female. That's literally
so,
reinforcing the
so we
binary.
start we start an article about understanding non-binary by reinforcing the gender binary.
Yes, makes perfect sense. And then it goes on to say, but for some people don't nearly fit neatly into the categories or man or woman, blah, 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 woman or male, female. And it's just, I can't take the article as seriously just because you literally started out
Not serious.
reaffirming the
And then
binary.
and I'll go back to this topic a million times. I as a kid I loved Marilyn Manson. Marilyn Manson got his uh his inspiration from David Bowie, and there's a whole bunch of different artists like Prince, Elton John. We've had people who aren't totally binary for a long time. It's not a new thing. This isn't some magical thing that some college girl today decided that when she got purple hair, now she's not a girl anymore. We've known about tomboy. Literally, tomboy has been a concept since like the fucking prairie days, like Little House on the Prairie. In Little House on the Prairie, there's characters who are tomboys. Like, we knew this. We all knew this. The thing we didn't do and we don't need to do is give this person some kind of like special treatment, minority oppression platform that, well, you don't understand. I'm not really a girl. I'm not really a boy. I'm this other magical creature that's somehow totally different. We never needed to do that. And the thing is, like, the people who did, I will say there were people who got attention for it. But the reason they got attention for it, and Sam Smith is a great reason of why it needs to be done correctly, is they got attention because they were so good at it. Like Prince. Prince was so good at it, people would not mess with him. Like, they would not mess with him. You would get people who were homophobic, transphobic, they weren't going to mess with Prince because he was honest. He was portraying a character that was real. He got the ladies. He got whatever he wanted, and he was amazing at it. Sam Smith, this new video, all his photo shoots that now I guess have female breasts in them. I don't understand. If you have a picture of that, we can pull up a picture. I don't
Really
mind.
not good. I would rather not punish our audience. Um,
With pictures of Sam Smith's female breasts. I guess he is non-binary.
oh my God. It's just
But
for
and
what
Harry Styles has done it too.
yeah.
A running joke I make is it's like, you'll have like a cis man and they get the earring and they get the nail paint, and now all of a sudden they're not responsible anymore for anything that's supposedly like cis white men problems. Like,
Yeah,
it's stupid. It's
it is
just stupid.
stupid. So,
Yeah.
continuing off your point that you made earlier about like how like tom girls have existed for a long time or like masculine and femme or whatever or trans femme whatever. I attribute that more towards a personality profile,
Right.
not a gender. And people are conflating the two and
Right.
it's like
Exactly.
not the same thing.
Not at all.
And I think people express gender in a way that makes things easier to like be like you're this not well, I mean it is kind of imaginary, but you're this like made up kind of gender that you've never heard of when it's just more of like
Right.
a personality profile. Like that I think that's what people mean when they say that I'm this gender. I
Yeah.
think they mean I'm this personality profile. And the thing is
1,000% agreed.
um
And to share something really personal, like my entire life I've associated with like female video game characters. I've always loved like the female fighting game characters. Most gay men like female characters, and I did drag. I've always associated with female aspects of life. Does that make me a woman? No. And it's not because I'm choosing that or not choosing that, like, because people want to say, well, you just aren't that. Well, how am I any less different than you having your feelings and deciding that you're trans or deciding you're non-binary based on your feelings of associating with femininity, but I'm not, because I now choose to still associate with my biological gender and sex, which is male. How are you somehow different and better than me now? That's ridiculous.
Well, it's the victim complex and the need for
It's the
attention.
victim, yeah. Because I love female like Mortal Kombat characters. I love like Ling Xiaoyu from Tekken. I love Sindal from Mortal Kombat. But I don't need to go dress up like Sindal to have self confidence. I can wake up and be myself, and I'm still happy, right? And there's some people who aren't able to do that, and that's something they need to fix, not me.
Well, true. Yeah. And the thing is, I think it's ridiculous to command that you're this kind of way to people and then have them address you in certain pronouns. And much to the point of kind of like what Matt Walsh said, like, you don't get your own pronouns the same way that you don't get your own adjectives or you get your own prepositions or anything of that nature. That's just simply not how it works.
And an even worse thing is, so you've got like Buck Angel, you've got Blair White, you've got people who have clearly went above and beyond. They are trans. There is no doubting in the world of trans. Blair White and Buck Angel are trans. That is not a question.
Yeah.
And then you've got some person who's like a 19-year-old college girl who dyes her hair purple, and she gets online and says Buck Angel is a TERF white supremacist Nazi that needs to be canceled. Well, did you go through what Buck Angel did? Because Buck Angel is a lot older than you and knows a lot more than you. And Buck Angel is telling you how it is to actually be trans, not to dye your hair purple and get affirmation from your fellow college students because you have insecurity and you want attention.
Yeah.
Have you considered that?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's also just like trying to make friends, but I don't believe that when these people are trying to transition or anything, that it's done in good faith. I think it's just to like fit in for like a temporary moment. And then when they don't give what they want to each other, or whatever, that friendship just dies. And then you're left a husk of a person because like you didn't transition for the reason of transitioning for yourself.
No, it's worse than that, because you know what happens? That purple-haired college student, the cis girl that does this shit, goes and just takes a shower and her purple hair washes off and she's back to being who she was in the first place. It's a joke. It's a literal joke.
Well, for some people, but you also have detransitioners that have gone through
right. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize what you were talking about. That's a huge problem. But that's a little different from non-binary, and that's from where the medical community takes advantage of people in this whole spectrum and starts saying, well, what you need is surgery. What you would be happy with is this expensive surgery I can provide, and I'll make thousands of dollars off of it if I mutilate your body.
Oh, but it doesn't end there, because then for the lifetime of that patient, you need to take hormones to sustain your transition into the other.
Payday.
Yeah, exactly. It's continuous money for big pharma and like for the medical community. And they consider trans people cash cows, and they don't really care about them. They just care about how you need continuous support in order to maintain this transition that you've made for yourself. And because I mean, it's really like money.
Right. Which of course, and there's a difference here. There's a difference between, like I said, Blair White, Buck Angel, who have made the decision, this is the life I want to live. I'm confident in my decision. This is who I am. Go for it. For me, I say go for it. Same as like, Marilyn Manson, Nicki Minaj, Lady Gaga. You've chosen an image. You want to live your image. Live your image. Do it. That's amazing. That's awesome. But if someone went around, I would say this would be the same thing. If some plastic surgeon went around tricking college girls into getting surgery to look like Lady Gaga, that would be a problem. And if they said, you have to pay us $5,000, we'll mutilate your face to look like Lady Gaga, and then you have to pay us surgery to like continue that transition for a long time, that's not the same thing. And again, the problem that happens is that the left wing like refuses to call out bad apples. And the bad apples are trans surgery and non-binary nonsense that has nothing to do with us. Well, it's gotta stop.
It does. And I find that it's actually more of a problem, the fact that instead of like affirming this person's like likes and stuff, that it's more towards the gender, which is somehow a personality trait has turned into an entire personality. So now
Right.
you're taking this like small like dysphoric feeling and then transitioning it, or for lack of a better term, into an entire personality. And instead of like dealing with that, I think it would be more beneficial if like if you're going to respect a non-binary person or anything like that nature, respect their interests, like respect them as a person, not what like this entire personality trait is now an entire personality.
And so we knew this was a problem a long time ago, though, because do you remember Tumblr, like the original Tumblr?
Yeah.
Tumblr used to be and it still is to my knowledge, but it was the source of this insanity of like a million genders. Something I read on Tumblr, which to this day I will never know is true or not, because so on Tumblr it was literally just people who were teenagers. They were like, confused. I'm not saying they're confused, but when you're a teenager, you have a lot of crazy thoughts, right?
Yeah.
Everyone goes through phases: emo phase, goth phase, whatever phase, scene kid, club kid, whatever. Tumblr made that go wild, and I read like on Tumblr one time, which Tumblr was the source of like a million different genders. I read about how people. So are you aware of otherkin? Have you heard of otherkin?
Oh, I've heard of otherkin.
So otherkin is where you're actually born a different different species. So you're a wolf, but you're born in a human's body. I read on Tumblr that squidkin and octopuskin are oppressed by the otherkin because they are not respected as animals within the otherkin genre, and that wolves are the most essentially in this scenario racist group. That wolves and dogs and dragons are the most racist groups that discriminate against the otherkin squids and octopus.
Oh my god, that's insane.
And so the thing is like, I wish I could say I knew immediately that was satire. I don't immediately know that that's satire. I really don't. I really don't know if that's satire, and I wish I did.
It's hard these days.
In a previous video I watched, a man with lipstick and mascara talk to children.
Oh god,
and that was real.
Jesus. Well, I mean, in this day and age, it's so hard for like heterosexual people to take our community seriously because it's just more and more ridiculous stuff, and it's just like a never-ending, like, never ending. There's always some new gender. There's always some. It's so confusing. It's hard to get anyone to actually like try to understand it, and it becomes a mockery at a certain point. And we've really gone past the line on that front.
Yeah. And I have left-wing friends, and they're like, right-wing people are overreacting. I'm like, I agree. There's things where that's happening, but the problem is how do they know what's true?
That's fair.
I'm in the left. I'm basically in left-wing groups, and I don't know what's true. I can't figure out which one of you people are like literally just like lost and who's making a joke.
Yep. But unfortunately, that's all the time that we got for right now because we're over time. But anyway, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, and don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It shows the YouTube algorithm that you like what you see and it helps support the channel. So again, thank you so much for watching. I'm your host, Dylan.
I'm your host, John. Bye.
See you guys later.